the grit, the aggression. Guys are competing for life-changing money.
I mean, how many people watch a month?
I don't know, probably 30 million.
You're not making YouTube videos. You are revolutionizing how we watch sports. This is Donald Delahaye, AKA Deestroying.
Deestroying! Excited for the game. Keep up the great work.
I'm a big fan of Deestroying.
We sat down with him to talk about the toughest decision he's ever had to make.
Do I pick my scholarship or my YouTube channel? Nobody's ever been through any of this before.
How he rebounded to build one of the most impressive businesses on YouTube. What is your monthly AdSense check now?
I think the most I ever saw was like 400,000.
And to get his advice for the next generation of creators.
Was there any point where you thought to yourself, okay, I've made it? Has there been any moment where you looked at your bank account or you looked at your group and you said...
Even every day to this day, I look at the account, I'm like, yeah, I
made it.
Yeah.
We actually first met Dee at an event that we hosted with the sponsor of today's episode, Spotter. Now, in addition to Dee, Spotter has paid out over $740 million through catalog licensing deals to creators like Eric, Mr. Beast, Dude Perfect, Kanigra Dion, and Jesser. And for Spotter, it's not just about capital. It's also about supporting creators through knowledge. We've actually been hosting events in partnership with Spotter here at our studio to help creators learn more about how to build their businesses. You'll be hearing more about Spotter from us on this channel, and you'll also hear from Dee in this episode about how he actually put the capital to use, which is really cool. So if you're a creator looking to accelerate your business, click the link in our description, learn more about Spotter, and see if you're eligible to partner with them. All right, now for our conversation with Deestroying. I've been watching your channel for a while. Because Colin and I come from the world of sports media.
Yeah. We made a video about you even.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I saw it.
No one saw it.
We'll show it to you later.
I think I saw it.
The one thing that's been so interesting is watching your one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. Those videos push like 8, 10, 14 million views.
Yeah.
What's amazing to me is that there's like serious filmmaking involved in making those, right? They don't really follow the same rules as other YouTube videos right now. Fast-paced intros, like tons of text flying at you. Like it doesn't follow those same rules. And we have people in our office who don't watch sports who watch them.
Man, that's amazing.
And I wanted to ask you, why do you think those are connecting with such big audiences?
Obviously, the competition is exciting enough. People love football. Football is like the number one sport in the whole country. So we take the most action-packed pieces of it, the wide receiver and DB competition, the smack talk, and there's $10,000 on the line. A lot of these guys are risking their bodies and risking a lot of things just to win this competition. It resonates. People could feel that through the screen. People could feel that through the camera. And I don't know, man, people love football. People love the action.
It almost reminds me of boxing.
Yeah.
Where like you see two guys in a ring, it's universal storytelling. You turn the sound off and you can understand it. Mm-hmm. Like if a boxing match was on right now and it's on mute, we got it. Yeah. It's one guy's in there, the other guy's in there. One of them's going to win. Yeah. One of them's going to beat the other one up. But it takes a really long time.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone post about this, that a full length football game, the total amount of football that's played is like 11 minutes, right?
I saw that post. Yeah.
11 minutes of
commercials
football.
And a lot of stoppage and a lot of.
So you take the world of sports entertainment that we used to have not many choices for entertainment, right? We would turn on, ESPN and watch a game, and it was 2.5 hours long. And what was the other choice? Read a book, or go outside.
Yeah. And these games, they weren't originally built for TV.
Yeah.
Football is old. Like the original model of a football game is because there was nothing going on, and you had to go and watch it in person.
And the other issue is they're wearing helmets. Mm-hmm. So you can't see facial expressions. And when I watch your one-on-ones, it's like you have this, one versus the other. In the matter of 5 seconds, I'm going to know who's the best out of them two. And then I'm going to get connected to them. And what's great is when one of them, like sick juke or something happens, like they catch the ball, the whole crowd erupts. So you get the cues of what matters. Right? Like what am I supposed to be excited about?
Yeah.
Okay. And almost like in Dude Perfect videos, when they hit a trick shot, they all go crazy. Yeah.
Whatever people come out and see, that's what they're going to get on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like one day I'd love for you guys to come to watch the one-on-ones.
Oh, dude, I would love to come.
Like
I'll compete.
Even in person, it's a whole different experience, but it's all tied together in the edit.
Well, that's another special thing about not only sports media, but what you've done is that there's aspiration for me to be there. Mm-hmm. And I actually can be there.
Yeah.
Like today, you're flying to Chicago.
Yeah. We got one-on-ones coming up this weekend.
And like people there's going to be, I mean, how many people are going to be there?
This one, they've been asking for me in Chicago for a long time. And the amount of mentions I'm getting and story reshares and everything, I say at least 1,000.
1,000 people
at least
to
1,000.
show up.
Yeah.
That is so incredibly hard.
Yeah.
First of all, to get 1,000 people to show up to something, but the fact that there's actually a physical manifestation that you can attend. Like if I'm a fan of your one-on-ones, I can actually come out and
come meet me. You could see me right there.
Crazy.
You could dap me up, and then you could see the thing being filmed. And then after you go on YouTube and watch it, like, oh, I was there. I remember that
That's
moment.
a part of that. This recipe that I think is really explosive for you. That it's something physical that's happening. That then like 1,000 people are experiencing it physically, and then
Millions
10 million people are experiencing it digitally, and then out of those people, they can come to the next. It's like a feedback
little
loop.
cycle. Yeah.
And you're not filming household names. I think
just
that's
random
really
people.
powerful. Like a lot of creators probably think, oh, I need access to the best player in the NFL.
Yeah.
I need to film with people who are already known and people want to watch them. But what's cool is that you're filming people like you, like the people that love the sport, that want to come out, who don't actually really care if there's cameras out there. They just happen to be there.
Yeah.
And that's what we found when we were running our channel that was all about lacrosse. Our best videos were about high school kids because that was who was watching. Like that was the audience, you know? Exactly.
It's relatable to them. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I really don't collab that much with people. I found it more valuable to get those people that nobody really knows or like maybe an athlete rather than like a big YouTuber or something like that. So I don't know. Again, it just comes back to that authenticity and relatability. A lot of people feel like they could be in that place. So it means a lot more to them.
You've landed in this place where you are revolutionizing how we watch sports. You're not making YouTube videos. You're like changing the way we engage with sports.
And when you guys say it like that, man,
Is that how you feel? Do you feel like when you are going out, you're working, you're doing this for a while. Do you feel that every day when you wake up?
To be honest, man, no, I just kind of live in the moment, man. I'm focused on giving back to the community. That's another thing about these one-on-ones that is so empowering, is going out to communities, underserved communities. And guys are competing for life-changing money. Not only are they getting a platform, getting noticed, but who knows what that money's going to help them for. Their parents might be sick. They might not be backed up on rent or something like that. So definitely that community impact is huge. And
it's also a level of exposure, right?
Yeah.
Like,
guys have gotten our best receiver. He comes to all the one-on-ones. He's won 6 of them. And now he got a contract in the XFL. And the guy's the #1 receiver in the whole league. So he's most likely going to go to the NFL.
That's crazy. You story told around him too in your most recent video.
Yep.
That's what I think is crazy, is that it's like a reality TV show playing out in real time. Like American Idol, right? They go all over the country. They find who's the best. They bring them together for exposure and money and a prize, and we all follow along. And like, you're building that on YouTube. I've never really seen anything like that, you know?
I think what's cool is like in the times we've talked, like we were at an event together in the beginning of this year. And I remember watching you diligently take notes during the event.
I was locked in.
And it was something that I was like, you know, I was just looking at the way, how attentive you were to all the sessions, what you were pulling away. And that's when we kind of started chatting. The event was put on by Spotter, and it was like this, these conversations that we had where I recognized like the type of entrepreneur you are. And I was curious if you could kind of explain to us, like, what is the business of Deestroying?
Man, the business of Deestroying has a lot of moving parts. Right now, I'm really focused on just streamlining my team and making sure everybody's in the right positions, making sure everyone's performing to their strengths and doing the things that they're best at. My team's very slim. I don't operate big. A lot of these other YouTubers and creators, they have like 100 people teams. I don't know how big you guys' teams, no shot. But probably have like
it's not
6
people,
like 6 or 7 people max, you know. Everyone's operating, everyone's happy. I got 2 camera guys, well 3. One, we just moved into kind of a producer role, figuring out all the logistics to things, booking flights, travel, hybrid assistant type of thing. I got my right-hand guy, Mike Swift, shout out to him. He's like a whole conversation point in this interview if we want to get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
He came into my life and basically saved me from a terrible position I was in business-wise. Wasn't too educated, didn't know much about what I was doing. I was just focused on creating, and I allowed people to kind of come into my life that maybe weren't experienced enough to kind of drive my ship. So Mike's kind of saved me out of that. And he's just a genius, man. His thinking is forward. He's always thinking about the goods, bads that could come out of things, trying to put me in the right positions. like I said, it's a whole conversation.
What did he help you solve?
Man, so back in the days, I just had like, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but management that wasn't the best experienced, and they brought in people that weren't really fitting to my team. Like I had an accountant that was getting paid like $8,000 a month, and it wasn't really an accountant. Didn't even have a degree in accounting, none of that. They were just paying payroll and things like that. We're gonna sign a lease on a gym and do a whole build out. Nobody had any idea on what it really takes to build out a gym. Nobody had any idea about the plumbing, the build out, the costs, like none of that. And we're about to sign a 5-year lease. And obviously it was all gonna come out of my pocket. So he kind of saved me right before I signed that paper. And I don't know, it's just helped me make the right decisions.
You know, management is a very hard thing, I think, in our industry, because what happens with creators is like you are the surface for opportunity. Like you're putting out the YouTube videos. If you look even 3 years ago at your email inbox, like you put a dollar amount on what's coming into your email inbox, it's going to be extremely high. Now you think about the opportunity to take 15% of that. Someone can build a 6-figure career off of just responding to the emails in your inbox.
100%.
And if you select someone who's, too excited about that, they're going to say yes to everything, right?
And they just want to get paid at the end of the day.
Yeah, because
they're thinking short term.
Because also they say yes to a deal, they collect their 15%. You got to go do it.
I got to execute that. So
you got to go do it, and you got to deal with the repercussions of it. Let's say it's a bad deal, nobody likes it. It looks bad on your brand. They still collected their 15%, right?
The crazy thing about my manager too is like right as I was going through that kind of shift in management, I was about 1.5 2 years ago. I told him like, bro, you've helped me so much. Will you be my manager? Like, I feel comfortable with you. I feel like you do a great job at it. He's like, I could sign up for a great payday right now, but I'm going to forfeit that. And I'm going to tell you, no, I'm still going to be your right-hand guy. I'm still going to navigate through things with you, but I feel like there's people that will be better at this and people that know a lot more than this. I want to learn and sit back and kind of still see and evaluate things. And he sat back for like 1.5 years. We just recently kind of locked things in. So
think about the trust that builds. That's crazy.
Big. Yeah.
I think it's so important as a creator to surround yourself with people that you can trust. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do is build a team, especially on the business side, because it all happens all at once. Yeah. Right? Like everything kind of,
it's fast, bro.
It happens fast. It's like a matter of 2 years or something typically for creators, where it goes from like, I'm uploading YouTube videos to like, whoa, I'm running like a multi-million-dollar media company. And what just happened?
Yeah. And there's no one else you can really look at because no one's doing it.
Exactly. No one's kind of in this hybrid sports / creator space. So, football, there's a lot of sports creators. But
Yeah. Is the business primarily based on advertising, sponsorship deals? I know you also have a clothing line.
Right now it is. So right now the main source of revenue is sponsorships on the channel. They make up a good chunk of change. Yeah. Just like ad reads and different things like that, partnerships with companies. Then obviously the ad revenue from YouTube itself is pretty significant as well. Yeah. The merch is all right, but I've found it's weird with my demographic because the conversion rates aren't the best, I say. Like you'd think I have 5 million subscribers, I could sell 5 million shirts, but the harsh reality is not that easy. Yeah. So with the merch, I'm kind of rebranding right now. I had my 11 brand. Yep. I think we're going to shift into something else. I feel like I wasn't as passionate or as bought into the brand as I should have been. So we're trying something new. It's all about experimenting and trying things. I'm starting to branch out into different avenues of things too. I feel like I know the clout is not going to last forever. So a lot of these deals that I'm signing, whether it's, advertisers or whatever it is, I try to get a little bit of equity or I try to get something ownership. Yeah. At the end of the day, like I said, I'm not going to be on top forever. My videos, I'd love for them, knock on wood, I'd love for them to do millions and millions of views forever, but it's not going to happen. So I want to get some ownership. I want to diversify my investments, get into real estate. I just bought my second home. Hopefully I could get a couple more, get some rental income, things like that. So
that's dope.
I just want to diversify, man.
Is the XFL partnership a unique one?
Yeah,
is that really a little bit different?
It really is, because obviously the brand wants to grow, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I feel like I'm the leading football creator in the space. Yeah. So they kind of just let me do whatever I want. They have put me on ESPN as like a sideline broadcaster. Like they've let me come out, warm up with the team and things like that. They even offered me to play, but I feel like I wasn't ready at the time. And I've kind of just had this new awakening that I do want to play again.
Really?
So yeah.
I can't tell sometimes when you post about that if you're being
real or not. I know. It's weird because it's like I'm so used to this life and I'm so used to the comfortability and the freedom. And I know going back into the system of football, you got to be at the meetings, you got to be at the practices,
like
it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. And I feel like I have a little bit of a sour taste because of the CFL experience I had too. It wasn't necessarily the best. And I know how football could be. I played college football for a few years, high school ball and all that. So, but nah, I feel like I won't be fulfilled in life until I make a kick in the NFL. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's a cool goal, even for people who watch you.
Yeah.
You know, to have that as a North Star. Now there's a new narrative that as I'm watching your videos,
it's gonna unfold.
Okay, maybe that'll happen as I'm watching.
And I feel like it's the right timing too. Like along the way, I've learned a lot of things. I made a lot of connections, and now I feel like I could put all those together and pull the right strings to make the right calls, and maybe see myself in the league one day.
You know, it kind of reminds me of like Logan Paul and WWE right now. Like I know he's also involved in consulting a bit on the media and the marketing side, because sports have changed. Like it's infinitely more enjoyable to scroll your phone and watch the highlights from a game than it is to sit for a lot of games, right? Like it's more fun to watch it on Twitter and see the commentary and see. It's like the dynamic has completely changed of how people are consuming sports, why they're consuming sports, the type of characters they're connected to, right? Like you could be walking down the street next to an NFL Super Bowl winning O-lineman.
A Hall of Famer. You won't know.
And no one will know who he is. They would know you, right? And that's like that dynamic has changed.
It's crazy because I got an interesting story that relates to that. I remember a while back when I collabed with Antonio Brown. We just got done at the field. We're wrapping up. He has his Lambo truck. He has like 3 camera guys with big over-the-shoulder cameras, all this stuff. I got my one shooter and myself in a little Toyota rental that I had at the time. We hop the fence and he's getting his car. I'm getting mine, put my stuff away. And like 6, 7 kids roll up on bikes. And they're passing by and they see me like, oh, what? Deestroying. Oh my God, bro, can I get a pic? Can I get a pic? And like they were in such shock to see me. I'm like, bro, Antonio Brown is right here, like next to me. They didn't pay him any attention at first, like nothing like that. Like they were so interested in me. So I don't know. I thought that was very interesting.
It's so true though, that like storytelling is what matters. You look at Formula One, like Drive to Survive, what's happened on Netflix, like it has changed that sport in America because of the characters. Like those guys wear helmets too, but the access to stories is what's brought like millions of fans to that sport. And I feel like that's the opportunity with you in the XFL. Right now,
telling a lot of guys' stories. We're actually going to next weekend. We're heading out to St. Louis to watch their game. I don't know if you guys are familiar with AJ McCarron, but he played in the NFL. He was a quarterback in the NFL.
Played for Alabama.
Yeah. So now he's in the XFL. He actually turned down like a pretty sizable contract just so he could play in the XFL and so his son could watch all his games. So gonna tap in with him, talk to him a little bit, tell his story a bit, and
that's what's crazy is that you're Deestroying, right? You're a character in your videos on the internet, in the sports landscape, in the general entertainment landscape. You are a character in that world, right? Plus, you have a sports network where you can put someone on, right? AJ McCarron it's a big deal for him to be featured on your channel. So you're also like the network. And then you're also the producer. And like one of the most interesting things I've seen in your content recently is your voiceover. Like,
trying to get into that a little bit.
But the fact that your voiceover feels official and that when you're saying someone's name, I have a different relationship with it than if it was some other voice, like Hard Knocks or something, right?
Welcome to Seattle, Washington, home of the Seattle Sea Dragons and a receiver corps that has caught the attention of the entire XFL. Meet Jacob.
But you're kind of recreating that feeling for this new generation.
Yeah, I do eventually want to create a sports network. And I feel like that's kind of what I'm shifting to. Like I said, there's so many stories and so many characters within the sport. And I have this amazing platform that can amplify those stories. So,
but you have a sports network.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people watch a month?
I don't know, probably 30 million.
30. So you have a sports network that 30 million people watch per month, right? Like,
it's
crazy.
That is true. But I like I said, I just don't want it to be so dependent on me all the time. I don't always want to be the star of the show.
Totally.
There's so many stories, so many different people. So for example, that piece we did on JPZ and the XFL, I wasn't in it too much. I was still tied in through the voiceover and different things like that. But eventually I do want to get into stuff like that.
Where do you see the Deestroying brand expanding now?
Man, this is always such a tricky question because there's so many avenues and so many things I could do. I'd like to be on TV. I'd like to do the ESPN stuff. I'd like to create my own network of like new age culture media. Obviously just business stuff that has nothing to do with online and social media. I don't know, just creating platforms for others. The one-on-ones could turn into a show that travels around, people buy tickets to and come to. I'm building a 7-on-7 football team that is going to mentor a lot of these kids, teach them how to be men, teach them financial literacy, teach them how to navigate the NIL space and different things like that. Just teach them things that'll help them have a better life. Capture, document all that, maybe make a Netflix series out of it. I've definitely talked to some people about creating something like that. Obviously, I'd like to get in it in my own way, like with the JPZ story, telling about him and stuff. But we're trying to figure out a way to make it happen without giving away like just the results.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we do all these events, and maybe it'll take a little more planning, but we do all these events. We show up Friday, event happens Saturday, and we kind of leave Sunday. So I know it'll take more time, more leadway, more sit there, interview the guys and things like that. So
totally. That will change your job if you choose to do that.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to get there though. We're going to get there. I'm always about making things bigger and better. And I think that's definitely a path I want to take.
Well, if you need help, let us know.
Hey man, let me know. Let me know. No, we can make something happen, man.
So we compare creators to athletes a lot. And we also talk about like to make it on YouTube is kind of similar to like making it in the league. Like there's only a finite amount of people who make it, right? Like really make it. Do you think like as you enter into whether it's YouTube or, early stage college athlete, like whenever you're starting your kind of personal brand is making it, you immediately start to get brand opportunities. Do you think there's risks in taking some of those early brand deals? Because I think for you, like your brand is very premium. Yeah. Like when I watch your stuff, it feels premium. The brands you work with are premium, and you have this feel to you, like that your brand is high end. And that attracts more high end brands, right? And more of a high end, just overarching narrative.
I do think, like you said, it's tied to the narrative. What do you want your narrative to be? Because these brands that you're putting in front of your fans and your audience, if you're just starting, like people are going to kind of relate that to you.
Yes.
So you want it to be something that, you care about, something that is positive, something that will help your story, your narrative, and not just some bullshit for a check,
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know if everyone has the grasp on that, but my advice is to make it something that aligns with you and your brand and where you want to go.
Yeah. And something that I think people like organically want to ask about. Like I'm looking at you and I'm like, how's your skin so nice?
Yeah. Hey.
Neutrogena.
Neutrogena.
I love that ad.
Appreciate it, man.
It was so interesting. It was like, this guy's a Renaissance man. Like he can do anything. Like he's making a documentary about this team. Yeah. He's also on the sidelines. Okay, now we have an ad and he's the star in the Neutrogena ad. Like, this is the full on future. Like,
me and my team have fun with the brand deals. Obviously, like you're getting paid a lot of money for like a 30, 45 second ad spot in your video. Might as well make the most of it,
It's also the business, so you might as well like really focus on it because that's the actual business.
And the more you put into it, brands take notice of that.
For sure.
Now we have brands calling like, bro, like the skits you do are great. Can you do something like that for our brand? Because, people just do the ad read. Hey guys, I just bought this Neutrogena product and this is that. That's boring. People are going to skip past that.
But again, it's like you're the network. So like the same way that there's if there was a really good 30-second commercial on ESPN, you would remember it.
Yeah.
And like you are now everything. You're the production company, the network, the talent. Yeah. It's so interesting. It's the same way that like, people talk about in sports that it's so interesting that Sports Illustrated didn't make ESPN, right? They were the biggest sports media. They had an opportunity to step into television, but they were like, we're a magazine. Why would we step into television?
I bet they're kicking themselves now.
ESPN comes in, and then ESPN was late to the social party too.
Yeah.
Now they got Omar and they're like, they're good with social, but like they were late and they can't do what you do.
So a lot of these big brands that you think have so much money and resources, but they can't. For example, the NFL, love them to death. They're a partner of mine, but the reason they brought me in is because they want to relate to the younger audience. Yeah. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to bridge that gap. They started putting games on Nickelodeon with slime and stuff. And like, no offense, but what is that doing?
Right.
It's a little corny.
A little kitschy, yeah.
Yeah. So they bring in guys like me to create more excitement and more accessibility to the sport and kind of bridge that gap between the older people and the younger people in the sport.
I think athletes need to think about, they build teams. They need to probably start adding a layer of like a head storyteller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Someone who's it could be an outside agency or something. I'm sure there's agencies, obviously marketing agencies that work with athletes, but there's a new form of storytelling that exists that I think it's very hard for the legacy sports media folks to understand. For someone to replicate what you did is near impossible because they would sit in a conference room and try and
it wouldn't work.
Dissect it.
It wouldn't work.
You were actually just showing up to the field and
just
being like,
making it happen.
Just making it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, like, even when you talk about AB, like he had a bunch of camera guys with him, it's like, there's a different feel to like when you reduce all the friction down to just like, you knew how to edit, you had the camera. And now to apply that to athletes isn't easy.
Yeah. I will say they're getting better. They're starting to realize that. And like a lot of guys are creating channels like Justin Jefferson. We collabed on a video way back then and he started his channel off of that. Cam Newton, now he's doing his own thing, but his first videos were kind of collabing with me and he blew up off of that. And I don't know, I feel like they're starting to figure it out. Like, for example, again, the first time I showed up to work with Cam Newton, he had a lady with a clipboard. He had a boom operator. He had like 2-3 different cameras, producer and all this. And I showed up with my camera. AB, same thing.
Yeah.
They're starting to realize that it's all about the raw. It's all about people want to feel like they're there with you.
Yeah.
People don't want the overproduced and this and that. It's cool to get there eventually, but people don't want that from the jump.
I think it also depends though on what type of athlete it is.
Yeah.
Cause like sometimes you have a superhuman athlete.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to see them raw.
Yeah.
I only want to see, I want to see them
doing their thing.
Like held high to this standard. So it is sometimes I think a little different. Like we used to help Jeremy Lin with his YouTube content. And Jeremy's someone who I think was like, he was like human, human guy. So yeah. How do you fix sports media right now?
I don't know, man. I don't know if there's really a fix to it. It's definitely going to take time, but creating organic content, like you said, stuff with the football players, they wear helmets all the time. Nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
Getting to know their personality, getting to know their real people and things like that. I think people are interested in watching your favorite player ball out on a Sunday. And then let's say Monday, he's posting a YouTube video, my routine, how did I do that game? Or like leading up to that, just showing the human element to people more and letting people know that they're regular people. They're just really good at their craft. I think it's exciting, at least in my eyes.
I agree. I think there's a recipe that you put in, which is like connect the audience to the human under the helmet and then put them right into the game plan. Like your most recent video, it's a guy being interviewed, the guy who's the won 6 times. JPZ. He's won 6 times the one-on-ones. You're sitting down with him. He's talking about losing his dad, right? Like it's an emotional moment. You're connected with him and then boom, here he is on the field.
He's in the game.
I now care. I've never even heard of this guy.
You're rooting for him now.
And I'm like, oh, wow. I've never watched any bit of XFL really until now. I've never heard of this guy, but I really want him to succeed. And it only took 2 minutes.
And now every time you tune in and they play, now you know you're watching for him.
Now I'm going to folloll him, honestly, after this moment.
And it's like every time the XFL now posts any content and JPZ's in it or anything like that, he always says, just chill. I don't know if you saw on his jacket. That's like his motto. Yeah. Everyone's blowing it up in the comments. Everyone's like, oh, peasy. Yeah. So like now you have that organic interaction. Now people have a story or a hook to the game.
Yeah. So, he has more opportunity now than a lot of players who are currently in the NFL.
Playing.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
Was there, this is something we ask a lot of creators, was there an amount of money at any point in your career where you were like, once I get that, that's enough?
It always changes, man.
It always changes. What was the first amount for you?
Obviously, you had, I don't even know, $100,000 at first, way back in school. And then I saw that in my bank account. I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But now I want to get to 500. Yeah. I got to 500 and then $1 million. I got to $1 million. I think my next number is like 10. So
10 million.
Yeah. And after that, who knows? Who knows? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's insane, bro. It's insane.
You know, you start playing football in college and you think about like wanting to make $10 million. Like the path is to go to the league.
Yeah. That's been one of my biggest struggles. And a lot of people ask me, oh, why don't you play in the league? Why don't you, this and that? And for a while, I just always, like I said, I want to make sure I was good, make sure my family was good.
Yeah.
And YouTube's taking care of me immensely.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other factors like the freedom and the time and all of that. But if you look at the numbers, I probably make more money than 95% of NFL kickers doing what I do.
Damn.
So if I was to play in the league, my first year, I'm not gonna make that much money. I'm probably gonna be signed to a league minimum, which is like maybe $500K. And that's like a big pay cut for me. So, I mean, money is
at
not.
At this point, though, it'd be like a life move. And
yeah, no, 100%. It is more than just the
Yeah.
money at this point. And also to create so many more opportunities as well.
Yeah.
So, it back then it was about the money, and I always wanted to make sure I was good and things like that. But now it's more of a fulfillment thing. It's a blessing.
10 million goal, when do you think you'll achieve that?
If everything goes according to plan, 2 years maybe.
Damn.
Yeah, 2 years.
How old are you?
26.
Wow.
Yeah. I gave me and my business partner, Swiv, we have like a retirement goal, and I said by 30, I'm gonna be in a comfortable enough place to where I could walk away from everything, and I have enough residual income coming in and everything coming in that I'm just taken care of, and I could pick if I want to do something or if I don't want to do something, and not rely so much on, dang, I got to pay my bills.
And that 10 million, does that all come from sponsorships and partnerships?
Oh, no. It's just business all around.
Business all around.
Business all around, yeah. Not just YouTube. I know that the YouTube funnel don't last forever. So, I'm going to take advantage while I'm getting it now, but I'm using a lot of those resources and revenue to put into other things. So,
are you comfortable from like a monetary perspective? Are you kind of just like set, or do you feel like business wise, you still are working, month to month or?
Oh no, I'm set, man. My operating costs is probably like a month, probably like 30, 40K as far as payroll.
That's pretty good.
Whenever I host one-on-ones, they probably take like 25, 30K to put on, but with sponsorships and things, I make that money back easily and a little extra. So I think I'm good. I got a lot of money saved up. Again, my content doesn't take a lot of production and a lot of resources. It's kind of raw. So I feel like I've had the opportunities to really make a good amount of change.
Yeah.
I feel like my return's like 80% on my content. So
that's good. Someone could do that math.
Yeah. Yeah. So they could do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's important as a creator to keep your overhead low. 100%. You just have to monitor that. And because if you ever want to make a pivot, you got to have your operating costs low enough to make a pivot.
100%.
Because the industry can change at any time.
100%.
And your feelings can change at any time. You could be like, I don't want to do this anymore.
No, that's true. I'm a kind of a frugal guy. I don't spend a lot of money on things. So I feel like I am set, but at the end of the day, I'm a human. I want more. I see 100,000, I'm gonna want 150,000 and so forth. So
well, I'm glad you're open to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at first I wasn't, but at the end of the day, people know YouTube is a really lucrative business if you're doing it right. So at first I was kind of uncomfortable about talking about my earnings. I remember my first time, even my parents really realized how much money I was making. For some reason, I think I was switching management or something. So my YouTube checks, instead of being direct deposit into my account, I got mailed a paper check to my mom's house. So she opens up an envelope and she's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Wait, what? Send me a pic." And it's a picture of a check for 192 grand. I was like, I'm doing good on YouTube, Mom. And she's like, "What? You're making this type of money?" I'm like, of course, I got to pay taxes, got to pay my employees, and got bills to pay and stuff. But like,
that was a month, right?
Yeah,
that's a month.
Yeah. This is fourth quarter. You know how the fourth quarter gets. Yeah. So,
that's crazy though.
But they never changed their views on me. They didn't act any differently. That's always been like a deep-rooted fear of mine. Once people realize like how much money I'm making, they'll look at me differently or like treat me differently or things like that. But my parents are solid, bro. My family's solid. They never looked any type of way, asked me for anything. Like my parents are even like, "Son, don't feel like you owe us anything. Like it's our job to bring you into this world, and like we raised you, and now we did what we had to do. Like, don't feel like you owe us anything. If you want to take care of us, great, we'll take it. But don't feel like you owe us anything. You work hard, enjoy what you do."
Damn, that's amazing.
My parents are amazing, bro. My parents are the best.
Sound like great people. I'd love to hang out with them.
My parents are the best, man.
What is your monthly AdSense check now?
It depends. It's early in a year, so about 100 grand or so. Fourth quarter, I think the most I ever saw was like 400,000.
Wow.
Yeah, like 380-ish for round it up, But yeah, I'm starting to figure out though that the sponsorships can be a lot more lucrative than ad revenue. Yeah. And it's so back and forth. Like it's not consistent on the ad revenue at all. Maybe I cuss more on one video, or it's like a certain time of the year where, so I don't focus so much on the ad revenue. I just try to make sure sponsorships are, taken care of. And I'm getting to a point where I try to have every video sponsored. So
got it.
Yeah.
So you have like a deep understanding of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I watch your stuff, I really feel like you're not someone who likes sports and was like, I guess I'll put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like I can feel that you've been on YouTube for a long time.
Yeah. It's been a lot of years, man.
You used to make Call of Duty videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah. That's kind of how I got my start, man. Back like 2012 when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was like a huge thing. FaZe Clan, they were like popping, doing their thing, trick shotting and things like that. I always adored their content. I was like fathomed by it. And I always wanted to make my own stuff, but I never had the recording software. My parents couldn't afford it. It was like a $250 piece of software you plug into your computer. Then you need a computer to edit all of it. I just didn't have the funds. So I just ripped people's content online and just put my own spin to it, edit it, add some music. I edited for some clans as well, and I just post them up to YouTube.
Meaning some gaming clans?
Yeah, like gaming clans, different gaming orgs. Back then, everybody had a clan, so,
Damn,
there
so
was
you
a
started
million
as an
FaZe
editor
clans. Yeah.
first, really?
Editing was kind of how I fell in love with everything. It was kind of my escape. Now, I don't really touch too much editing.
Right.
You got to scale the business, but editing's like my deep-rooted passion. That kind of got everything started.
When you were like during this era of Call of Duty, were you also playing sports during this time?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Soccer,
I played
right?
sports my whole life.
Yeah.
Sports my whole life. I started at like 3 years old in Costa Rica, kicking a soccer ball around. Moved to America when I was 7. Started playing travel soccer down in South Florida, Miramar. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar. Mm-hmm. Then moved a little more north. My parents got a house. Continued playing soccer, and I don't know. My parents bought me an Xbox, so I started getting on the game like every other kid, and kind of was between both at the time.
And at what point are you on camera? Like, when did you get a camera and actually show up in your own YouTube videos?
Probably like 14, 15 years old. Me and my friends would do like skits and comedy stuff. There was this YouTuber I'd watch at the time. His name was Kevin Edwards Jr. And just me and my friends would kind of copy those skits, upload them to Facebook, YouTube, things like that. And they got some traction on Facebook. All the kids around the city and everything kind of knew us. So I don't know, that was kind of how I started putting myself on camera.
Did money come in for those skits?
Nah, I logged into it years later. I didn't even know I was monetized, but I logged in like years later. They were like $2 maybe on that account.
And did people pay you to edit gaming videos when you were
I got paid like a couple times. Not too much, maybe like 3 times. I'd edit highlight tapes for my guys and stuff through high school and college. So editing was always kind of a thing in my life.
Yeah. Your own highlights too, like sports highlights?
To be honest, I was a kicker, bro. I didn't have that many highlights. It's just me kicking the ball repetitively. I mean, as much as I could edit those, yeah.
And was there a stigma at any time around you putting yourself out there on YouTube?
To be honest, not really. I felt like that stigma came more once I got to college and I started like vlogging. Yeah. And I'd be walking around campus with a big camera in my hand and people were just looking at me funny.
Sports teams and vlogging don't really mix.
No,
like
not
the
really.
locker room culture and like putting yourself out and editing videos.
And the artist in the corner filming angles.
Yeah.
It's funny because my teammates at first didn't know what was going on, but they started to embrace it. Even like my coaching staff at the time.
At UCF.
They saw me walking around with a little GoPro or like my vlogging camera and things like that. They're like, oh, there goes Delahaye again filming. Delahaye is my last name. They called me Delahaye. There goes Delahaye recording again. Oh, what you recording this time? This and that. And then I remember when they fully embraced it, it was like after a bowl game we had, I recorded the whole experience, kind of showing us getting to the hotels and the different things like that. And at the end, the coaches saw it and they're like, man, Delahaye, I ain't gonna lie, you're talented, bro. Like, these are things we're gonna look back on years and years down the road. Like, wow, remember that moment. And you captured it so beautifully and so perfectly. So
also such a good recruiting tool. Because I remember, you went to Colorado because of a video you saw of the lacrosse team.
And then I made videos about my lacrosse team after I graduated that people have told me that they saw and wanted to go.
Yeah. Late at night, I'd go into like the indoor facility and I'd kick field goals and just work. And a lot of people would see the content and be like, bro, like, this is really inspiring. It's really motivational. And it's like seeing you work and seeing that you're human, you miss kicks as well. You don't just post the good things you're doing. Like, it gives me hope. It makes me want to work hard. It makes me want to go to UCF. Like you said, it was kind of a recruiting tool as well.
At what point did you start to understand that YouTube could become a business?
Like the summer leading up to me making my decision, I saw that I was able to monetize my channel, but Google AdSense, you know how you have to link the accounts and all types of stuff. It was telling me I wasn't able to for the longest time. And I was like, hold on. I do have an old account. Can I log in? I deleted the account and I linked the monetization to my thing. And I remember I made a penny and I was like, bro, what is going on? Like I was just doing this stuff out of love, like out of passion. And now I could make money. And then the next day I saw like 7 cents. And the next day I saw like $1. And I'm like, bro, what did I just do? So that's when I kind of figured out like, okay, maybe, you know, something can come from this. I remember I was dating a girl at the time too. And she was like, why are you on this video stuff so much? Like, why are you editing videos and doing all this and that? I'm like, it's my job. She's like, you're not making money. It's not your job. So the day I made a penny, just know I rubbed that shit in her face. I was like, I made a penny. Look,
it's a job
it's
now.
my job now. Yeah.
So at what point does the school reach out to you about your YouTube channel?
So college was interesting. My first year, we had like a head coach who was kind of like a dictator. Like he's walking down the hallway, you want to turn around and go the whole opposite way. He's scary. So none of that was going. He if he saw I was uploading any type of content, my freshman year I didn't really post much. So then we were 0-8 that year, worst team in college football. He got fired, so then we had an interim coach step in. So I saw that as my opportunity. So I do like little trick kicking videos and things like that. So I made one and put on Twitter at the time. And ironically, I didn't mean for this to happen, but the song I used was The Final Countdown. So the video started doing numbers. People liked it. And then he brought me into his office, the interim coach. He's like, bro, we're doing terrible right now. And you posted a kicking video during the worst season. And the song you use is The Final Countdown. Are you like, are you trying to mock us? So he made me take that video down. Man. But then during that, I'm like, okay, like there's a little bit of traction here. So once they were done, they were gone. We had a new coaching staff come in that was more of a player's coach. They kind of just embraced it all. Then I started filming my stuff in indoor, me working out. I started filming me going to class, skateboarding. Like we had this tradition at UCF, which like during homecoming week, everybody would like flood the fountain and things, just different aspects of my life. And I'm posting them. They're getting a little bit of traction. Eventually I was able to monetize my channel during that period. And also me and my best friend did like skits. We brought the skits back, but we did it in a way that was kind of engaging with the football theme I had going on. Wide receivers be like, quarterbacks be like, different things of that sort. And those videos took off. Those did like millions of views. And they made me a little bit of money. And then I remember I had my bowl gifts from the previous year. And at this point, I'm trying to market. I'm trying to get as many followers, subscribers as I can. So I post on my Instagram, hey, I got these bowl gifts. If you want to win them, I'm doing a giveaway. If you want to win them, all you got to do is screenshot this post, reshare it, subscribe to my YouTube, and follow me on Instagram, and I'll do a giveaway. First day, I had like 1,000, 2,000 reshares. And at the time, that's like insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I wake up to a phone call from our compliance office, and they're like, hey, man, so I see you're giving away your bowl gear, and I see you got a YouTube channel. Are you making money on this by any chance? And in my head, I'm like, I'm not about to snitch on myself. Like, no, I'm not making any money. They're like, are you sure? Because just letting you know, if you are monetizing your channel and making money, it could put your eligibility in jeopardy. And if we find out you are making money and we go through the season and we win games, then we have to forfeit those games because now we have a professional player that's getting paid on our team. So then, I was like, yeah, you know what? I am.
You were like, good thing we're 0-8.
Yeah. No, that was the following year, right before. Yeah. I know. I wouldn't have cared that year. Ain't nothing to forfeit. So, yeah. So, I mean, that was.
So you said, I am making money.
Yeah.
And what did they say?
They just brought me into their office and they're like, oh, we got to take a deep dive into all your content, all your social medias, and, talk to the NCAA and see if there's a possibility for this to happen. And the thing that I hated is during that whole process, it was a difficult process. I've never been through anything like that before. Like I felt like I was going through court hearings and different things like that. It's just be by myself and I'm in a room with a bunch of adults and in suits and it's just scary. In that
and you
point
didn't feel like anyone was on your side?
No, not at all. Yeah. Not at all. So like they're just diving through my stuff and every week it's another meeting and I'm kind of documenting this whole process. When they first reached out to me, I put up a video online. And I said, I I forgot the title, but it was something along the lines of, do I pick my scholarship or my YouTube channel? Something like that. And like it made like national news. Yeah. Like ESPN picked it up, Good Morning America picked it up, and all these different news outlets picked it up.
In a college football kicker who's forced to choose between two things he loves, his popular YouTube channel and his football team.
His name is Donald Delahaye, and he says he doesn't want to give up making videos now.
And I feel like that kind of helped me in my decision-making process, just seeing the amount of traction that created. And in my head, I kind of formulated a plan. Like at the end of the day, if I go down because of this, like I'm going to market the shit out of myself right now. I'm going to step on the gas as hard as I can right now so that if I am ineligible at the end of the day, I do have something that I could, continue with.
Were you making an amount of money at that time that you felt comfortable if it did happen and you were deemed ineligible and you lost your scholarship?
To be honest, I took a huge risk and I probably made like $3,000 that whole summer, which was not a lot at all and probably no means to live because it's $3,000 before taxes, before any bills, before anything. But as a college football player at the time, we're getting no money. I probably would get like $1,600 per semester, and that's like 3-4 months. So I don't know, it just felt like something. And I was working for it, and I could control my own, Was
money an issue with some of the other players too? Like, was that something that was talked about? Like, we're working really hard. There's no opportunity for us to make money. We're not getting
nothing, And I remember too, myself, I wasn't financially literate at the time, but my first check, so what they do, they split the checks up. You get like 800 something at the beginning of the semester, then 800 some towards the middle and
what are these checks? These are like stipends, right? For food and housing.
They're cost of attendance. I don't even know what that means, but I guess they're just helping us out with like different things. We're there, so if you got any miscellaneous bills or things like that, food, because they'd feed us and stuff. So it wasn't like it was to pay for housing and food. But I remember my first check, $860. I went to the Apple store, blew that shit on the iPhone. the whole check, bro. iPhone was probably like $840. Yeah. My whole $860 gone. So after that, I kind of realized, after talking to my mom too, I was like, oh, I got to save these checks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we didn't really make any money like that at the time. And UCF wasn't like a Power 5 school or like a huge program at the time either. So we weren't really much coming into the athletes at the time.
Talk me through that decision of...
It was tough, man. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't say it was one of the darkest points in my life, but one of the most confusing points in my life because I'm doing something that's positive. I'm doing something that people are like proud of me for and commending me for and inspired by. But in this big, giant mammoth's eyes, it's like a bad thing because they don't get to touch any of the money as well. And what I hated the most is like the compliance officers made me feel like this is all going to work out. This is all going to be great. Like we're talking to the NCAA. They seem like they're figuring out a solution. They're figuring things out. Like every week it's like a new meeting, new back and forth, new investigation, new this, new that. And just, I don't know, it's frustrating.
It's kind of crazy that like at that era, college athletes were giving so much to the school.
Giving their livelihood, their health, risking so many things and making the school hundreds of millions, making the NCAA billions.
And you're actually adding to the support by marketing the school. Right now, more people are like, oh, UCF seems fun. Maybe I'll go there. Even non-football players, right? Like just students can
I can't tell you how many comments I had that said that. Like, bro, like, UCF looks lit, man. I can't wait to go here.
Yeah. You're like showing it in a positive light, helping the bottom line of the university.
Yeah.
What a confusing
I know.
scenario.
I feel like also what it was too was I was a kicker. And at the time I was a kickoff specialist trying to compete for the field goal kicking job. So I really didn't matter that much to the team. You could always find a guy to kick the ball off. Maybe if I was a quarterback or something, they would have made something work. But at the end of the day, I didn't matter. I was just a random kid kicking the ball. So, yeah. The process was tough, man. There was a lot of nights that I cried. There was a lot of nights that I called friends, called family members, and just to get their advice and hear their opinions on things. But at the end of the day, my gut just told me, like, you're doing the right thing. Just go with your gut. Go with your heart. Go with your gut. And, things played out.
What did your parents think when you finally made that decision? Because putting myself in your shoes, like if I had a full scholarship to go to school, and then I told my parents back then, I'm actually going to pursue my YouTube career and forgo the scholarship, my parents would be like, what's a YouTube career?
To be honest, man, my parents, I love them to death. They're the best humans on the planet. They're supportive no matter what. And I will never forget these words. They told me, they said, hey, son, no matter what, whether you pick YouTube or you pick your scholarship, you're still going to be our son, and we're still going to love you to death, and we're still going to support you. So whatever you pick, as long as it makes you happy and it's what you want to do, we're going to support you. So my parents, bro, they're amazing. I don't know where I'd be without them. They always supported me.
Wow,
that's amazing.
And did you feel, how did you make that decision? Was it like a public announcement? Was it so it was weird. Cause like I said, it was a back and forth for like 6 weeks, going in and out of meetings, and they're like, oh, hold on. And there even came to a point where they told me, hey, can you stop posting? That way the NCAA could see things. But I'm like, no, cause if you guys kick me out, it's just gonna stop my bread. I ain't gonna make nothing. So, after the 6 weeks, I remember the final meeting, they called me into the compliance office, and it was athletic director at the time and the compliance lady that was helping me with this whole process. And they sat me down and they were like, oh, we're just going to get straight to it. The NCAA said you either have to pick your scholarship and delete your channel, donate all the money back, and, get rid of all your social footprint, or you have to, basically just hit the road, forfeit your eligibility, keep doing your YouTube thing, keep making your money, whatever, but you have to make a choice right now before you leave this office. I'm like, damn, I wasn't expecting, I didn't know it was like coming up that quick. So I feel like the anger in me as well, because I thought things were going to be good and there was going to be opportunity for me to do both. I was like, bro, you know what? Y'all could keep my scholarship. And I just walked out the room. Wow.
Yeah. And busted in tears, and I didn't realize the magnitude of the decision I made in the time. It was more of like an impulsive thing. Obviously, it's what I wanted, but it was like bro, just have it. I'm out of here. And then before I even got to my car, my phone lights up with a tweet. UCF kicker Donald Delahaye deemed ineligible.
Oh my gosh.
Because of his YouTube channel. So it's like they were ready. They just wanted to press the trigger. So I don't.
So they wanted to kind of send a message to the rest of
Seems like
athletes.
It. Yeah. Seems like it. Yeah.
So with that tweet getting sent, was there another wave of media?
No, there was a lot. The following day, and they told me I have 2 days to get out of my apartment and all that stuff. They're like, you got 2 days to pack your things and leave.
Ruthless,
we got other people coming in.
That's ruthless.
So yeah, I had interviews, Good Morning America. I had interviews ESPN. My name was in Times Square, Donald Delahaye ineligible, this and that, because of YouTube. There was a huge influx of media, and just, I don't know, it's a blessing, because that definitely helped me. I gained 100,000 subscribers. Wow. It just kind of just blew me up. And I knew now it was on me. I'm getting all the things I needed to. I'm getting all the wave, all the momentum. Now I just got to keep making great content. So.
And what happened next? What was the next couple months like? Did it take off immediately?
Man. So like I told you, I was doing a lot of this stuff with my best friend.
Yeah.
At the time, he was dating a girl. He had a dog, and he lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. Not the nicest, we're college students, 1-bedroom apartment. And I told myself, I'm not going back home. I'm not going back to my mom and dad's house. I'm not letting these people, not my parents, but just the outside world have that feeling of, yes, he's not doing well. So I slept on my best friend's couch for the next 5-6 months of my life. Basically homeless. He took me in. We literally grinded so much. We probably made 3 videos a day. We'd wake up, figure out what we could do, go film it, run around the hot ass sun, come home, edit, post it, figure out what we're doing the next day. And it was just that constant cycle for months and months and months. And obviously things started growing. I think my first month or two after I left, I saw 5K and 7K and so forth. Wow. But it just didn't feel real. It was is this actually gonna hit my bank account? Is this, I feel like I'm living life on a cheat code. So we hung out and kind of stayed in that spot for 5-6 months. And then eventually we're like, you know what? We doing all right for ourselves now. It's going to stay consistent. So let's get a nicer place. Let's move into a 2-bedroom apartment and so forth. But
so your best friend was kind of like your business partner.
Yeah, that was my guy. Yeah. Still my guy. That's my dog still, but he's doing his own ventures. I'm doing my own thing. So.
Did you get a brand deal at some point, or was there some moment where it really hit financially?
I think my first brand deal, it was, what's the pizza company? You keep it in the freezer.
DiGiorno?
DiGiorno, yeah. And they had me do a little obstacle course with DiGiorno pizza boxes and stuff. And they paid me $2,500 for a video and a tweet or something like that. I was like, what the heck? These people pay me that much money just to be featured in one of my videos? Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, like maybe I made the right choice, you know. And it's funny because I had all my teammates too that were back at UCF, like, bro, like, we so proud of you, bro. Like, we knew you was gonna do things. Like, during the whole process, they were super supportive. They were like, Delahaye, get your bread, bro. Get your money, bro. Get yours. Like, they ain't giving us shit. So like, go get yours, bro. So they were super supportive. Even after the fact, they were super supportive. And I don't know, things just started rolling.
So when you're making those videos after you lose your eligibility, you're getting some brand deals, you're continuing to earn from AdSense. Was it all an upward trajectory from that point on, or have you hit any lulls?
It's consistently been going up. I wouldn't say like a spike, but it's the trajectory's been up the whole time.
And your faith in YouTube, your enjoyment of the career hasn't faltered?
No, I mean, obviously it's not as exciting as it first was, but I still love what I do. I still wouldn't trade this job for anything. I'm passionate about it every day. Now my job is just a little bit easier. And actually it's easier and a little bit harder now because I've done so many things that now I have to start getting creative. Now, even like, for example, the one-on-ones, it takes money, time, a lot of logistics to make something happen. So it went from just going to the field, cutting on the camera, rolling, to now there's a lot of moving parts. I don't know if you guys checked out one of my most recent videos. I went to the field and I kind of told people I want to get back to kicking one day, and I'm kind of working towards that. And that video felt like one of my old school, like authentic videos. I just pull up to the field, cameras rolling, put on cleats, and just film. There's no type of planning. There's no type of nothing. So I feel like that kind of just reinvigorated me a little bit more as well. But I still love my job. I'm still very grateful and fortunate to be where I am.
You mentioned the kind of revolving door of YouTube content when you were first starting out. What's amazing is like some of that old content still picks up today, right? Like you now have this like this catalog of content. And you actually did a deal with Spotter.
My guys.
Can you explain how those deals work? I mean, we know how they work, but I think a lot of creators have been curious about this, like a catalog, licensing deal where essentially you.
So basically, Spotter will license a certain catalog of your content, whether it's your whole back catalog. I've done 3 deals with them now. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So they just license like the last year of my content, and I think it's for about 5 years or so. And they give you a nice chunk of change. It just dropped into your account. And you're no longer monetizing those videos on your end, but they are collecting money on their end.
Right.
So it's kind of an investment for them.
The license is for the revenue.
Yes. It's not, they don't own the content. They own the revenue that the content makes on my channel.
And for you, what has the money done for you?
Man, it's helped a lot. To be honest, a lot of my content isn't so produced. Like, it's not like a Mr. Beast video. I need 500,000 to make something happen. So it's not, all of it hasn't gone towards content, but definitely towards my team. My team is amazing. They've helped me create the beast that we watch every day now. Definitely have paid them a little bit more, upgrade their paychecks and things like that. I've invested in some property, retired my mom, helped her pay her house.
Damn, that must have been.
That was best feeling ever. My dad's up next. He just hard-headed. I told him he could have been retired. But he's like, I love my job, son. I don't want. I think he'll just be too bored at home. He doesn't do much. So.
That's also understandable. Maybe he starts a YouTube channel.
Right? So I've helped my family. I bought some land in Costa Rica with that. My ultimate retirement plan, build a house there. And when I want to just fall off the face of the earth, I'm just disappear to the house.
That's dope. What do your parents think now in a moment like that?
Man, I don't even know. They're just so proud, man. It's funny because my parents are like nonchalant. They're not like, they're like, oh my God, yes. They don't, over celebrate anything, but I just know they're proud. They call me all the time, extremely happy. And like, I don't know, they just thank me for being able to help them. And, my mom, bro, she works so hard, bro. So hard. She worked at Publix. I don't know if you guys know what Publix is. A little grocery store. And she'd work hours. She'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning, clock into work, get home at like 5, still have the energy to cook dinner for us, clean up and do all these things, bro. Like, my mom's an amazing woman. My dad works just as hard as well, but I just wanted my mom to get off her feet. She would come home, complain her back's hurting, her feet are hurting. She hates that she has to show up to this job. Like, whenever you brought up the job, her whole mood would change. So I was like, man, it's time. You don't got to do this no more.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What I love about your career is that you now have a job that just didn't exist before.
I know, yeah.
And to get there, you have to trust your gut so much at so many moments when, again, you don't have anchor points for I could have done that or I should have done that or maybe I'll follow what that guy's doing.
You're just blindly walking.
Man, yeah. And that's what I take from your journey is that you just followed your gut and it's now worked.
Do you feel like your situation, like to me, it feels like your situation was so loud.
Yeah.
Like I remember it very vividly.
Yeah.
That it had, do you feel like it had impact on where NIL went?
I feel like it was very pivotal for sure. Obviously there's other situations like Johnny Manziel and the Reggie Bushes of the world and things like that. But I do feel like mine was a modern day like awakening. Social media is so huge.
There's nothing
social media is taking over the world. Like everyone depends on social media, even these colleges that are trying to knock it down. So the fact that I had to get my eligibility up because of social media and the fact that I was so successful after, I feel like definitely played into their decision making.
Yeah. Obviously today the rules are different for college athletes, right? I just saw, I don't even know what these are based on, but a group released and ESPN posted about it, like NIL valuations.
Yeah,
Did you see this?
Yeah.
Like they're
Arch Manning, like 3, maybe 4 million, something like that.
And Bronny at 7.2 million, Livy Dunn at 3.4 million.
Travis Hunter was on there.
Travis Hunter at 1.7 million.
Yeah.
Those valuations are kind of based on their following, their brand, like where they're going to school, their abilities. But what's amazing is it's come a long way from like, hey, here's $860 to cover your expense. And also, hey, make a decision of if you're going to have your YouTube channel or play on the team to now like, there's probably colleges being like, come here because you'll get better brand deals.
No, 100%.
You know?
100%. A lot of guys like are getting paid just to sign. A lot of quarterbacks, I don't know if you heard, but the Tennessee guy got like $8 million just to commit and go to their school.
That's crazy.
So how does that happen? Is that from alumni groups?
Right?
Booster groups.
Booster groups, yeah.
That's crazy because like, you know how many 30 for 30s I've watched about on like
boosters
on boosters,
how illegal it is. It's line money.
Yeah,
the thing is they've always been doing it. Now it's allowed. Now they can do it on top of the table.
Right. Yeah, and not only can they do it, but like brands can get involved, and so now there's a totally different landscape.
Yeah.
Now you want your athletes to have YouTube channels.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true, but I would assume that some colleges are teaching kids how to build their brands now, right? Like teaching athletes how do you do what Livy Dunn did on TikTok or
obviously they probably don't know much about how to do it.
Sure.
You need guys like us that have actually built brands and have created content. And that's probably one business I do want to get into, just kind of consulting for a lot of these schools, talking to them, doing little presentations and teaching guys how to make content.
Yeah.
I've thought about creating an agency, but that's a lot of work. I'm not a lawyer. So it's just crazy how NIL is a thing now and they could get paid. I feel like I crawled so that my fellow student athletes could walk and run.
Yeah. What's your advice for these kids who are now like freshmen in college getting $8 million? Like, or even if you're
get a financial advisor, a finance person in your corner, to create value again. A lot of these kids, like even to this day, come up to me like, bruh, like I want to get an NIL deal. I want to be in content. I want to do this and that. And you check out their Instagram and it's just like them posing at the gas station or like,
just like holding the
just
product.
random stuff.
Yeah.
Not even like just on their pages. And like, you're not creating any sort of value. You're not creating anything that a brand is going to see like, wow, this is compelling. I want to put my money behind it. Yeah. You're just taking pics of yourself in an outfit or whatever it may be. Like create something. Let the world see your personality. Bring some type of value, whether you're teaching, whether you're entertaining, whether you're giving advice, whether you're doing something. Bring something to the table.
That's like a misunderstanding of fame or of like a very superficial understanding of fame where you see someone who's famous who can post a picture of their outfit and people are like,
you think you could do that?
And you think you could do that. I mean, I remember when we first started on YouTube, like, especially with this channel, we started filming our daily lives because we were like, oh, vloggers like Casey Neistat or other people are filming their daily life and people love that. Here's my daily, here's me going to the grocery store.
And you find yourself at the laundromat vlogging and you're like, this is not aspirational.
Not the same.
And no one cares about this.
And
then you have to back into like, oh, I'm asking people to invest time in this piece of content. And it's exponentially more competitive today.
Yeah.
So now everyone's making investment decisions with their time.
Yeah.
You have to think about it like that. So why would I invest with you? What are you giving me back?
Exactly.
And that is, I think, the space where everyone has to start of like, who's the audience and what are they getting in return for the time that they're spending with me? That's like the fundamentals of being a creator. And I think sometimes that can get lost. And sometimes that return is entertainment, laughter, escape, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be really clear on what you're giving people back.
Yeah. I think advice I'd give for sure is get a someone that could help you, someone that knows more than you do, because that's a lot of money coming in for a young person to create some sort of value. Like I said, teach, entertain, something. 3, do not lose sight on your sport. Because a lot of these people, their attention shifts. Oh, I want to make TikToks now. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. But they're not doing what they have to on the field. And obviously, number 4, continue doing your thing in the classroom. Because for me, I feel like I was getting a marketing degree and I learned a lot of things from marketing. I know school's not the most fun thing. Well, for most, I don't know if you guys love school, but
I loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. I was terrible at it.
Yeah.
I was bad at school, man.
I didn't love school, and I feel like they teach with a lot of fluff. You dig through all that fluff, you find gems that you can use. So I found a lot of gems in my marketing classes and my sports business classes that I later applied to my life. So definitely continue doing your schooling, learn what you can, get a financial guy, ball out on the field, and create value.
What if you don't have an opportunity on the field? Like, what if you're deep on the depth chart, and you're kind of like, I'm not going to get on the field, but I'm here.
Even that's an opportunity, though.
I think that's a huge opportunity.
There was a basketball player at Ohio State, I think, who like never touched the court. Yeah. And he ended up writing for, I think it was The Ringer for Bill Simmons. And he grew like a serious audience and following. I don't know if it was during, it probably wasn't during, I guess, but it was after, about that experience of like never playing.
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely spin things off. Like I said, I was a kickoff guy that, I probably kicked one field goal in my whole entire college career. So I can relate to that Ohio State guy, like I had to put in the work, and I was putting the work at practice. Obviously I never really got my opportunity, but that doesn't matter to the audience if you're compelling enough.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people saw me putting in work and do my thing, and they kind of were bought into my story, and they were rooting for me to finally, get that playing time or whatever it may be.
Totally.
So
I also think your sport doesn't always have to be what your content is about.
Yeah, 100%.
When Samir and I used to work more with athletes, we would always ask them, what would you want to talk about if you weren't getting paid?
What are you passionate about?
What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be your sport, because if you're going to dedicate a long period of time to, 1, enjoying this, and 2, building a business, you better actually care about what you're talking about on a daily basis.
100%.
Is there a student athlete right now who's also a creator that you think is interesting or doing something unique?
I love Travis Hunter. It's like my little brother, so it's kind of a little biased, but he's at Colorado with Deion Sanders. Deion and his team are doing some amazing things over there. Just the access that they're bringing and just the perspective they're giving to everyone, It's just crazy. I love Travis Hunter. His stuff's good. Livy Dunn's interesting as well. She's always on my TikTok page. She has a massive following. It's crazy.
Did you see the controversy she got into with the AI?
No, I didn't
She did
see
a
that.
brand deal for this AI tool that helps you like finish your essay.
Oh,
or like
no
finish your
way.
homework.
No way.
And she put like the way she did the brand deal was kind of like, is it midnight and you haven't done your essay yet?
So
Every
she
college student
promoted
is like,
cheating.
it is.
Yeah. And
That's
so
crazy.
The college had to put out, LSU had to put out a statement about it.
Wow.
And I think like it's the Wild West right now of this. There's all kinds of deals.
People were taking deals. I remember when it first was a thing, people were signing the most random deals. Like pizza stores and just random stuff. They'll do whatever they can for a check.
Hardware store.
Yeah. So I'm glad it's kind of fizzled out a little bit. It's still crazy, but now people are starting to figure out direction. I guess now the colleges are implementing programs and connecting these kids to people that can help them navigate that world. But still, it's tough, man.
I love the idea of the local brand deal.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't really a thing.
I would have loved to do a local brand deal.
A celebrity.
There's this
in your
football
college
player.
town.
His first name is the coldest, and he got
I saw that.
air conditioning.
Air conditioning. That was a great commercial. Though. That was smart.
It's crazy, bro. The opportunities.
Do you ever hear from the UCF people?
Man, it's It's funny because my first few years after I left, they were like my sworn enemy. I hated UCF with everything in me. Like,
didn't they like kick you off campus?
Bro,
one time?
I was about to bring that up. I went while I was there playing. Our coach's motto was always, "You're a knight now, you're a knight forever. You could come back, train. Our doors are open for you." So it's like, okay, cool. So after I get kicked out, I come back like a year and a half later. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bring my camera and I'm gonna go to the indoor and I'm gonna train. So I'm in there training, working out, and I see like this guy, I don't even know what his job was at UCF at the time. And he's walking in, kind of stops, look at me at the side of his eye. Then he pulls his phone out of his pocket and gets on the phone and walks out. Like 15 minutes later, like 6 cops walk in. They're like, oh, you're not supposed to be here. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, our coach says it's an open door for former players. They're like, nah, we just had a trespassing call on you. Someone called us and they want us to escort you off the property. So they basically trespassed me that day because I was in there training. So ever since that moment, I was like, you know what? F you guys. I don't want nothing to do with y'all. I know you guys are like my old school and whatever, but I don't. If that's how you guys are going to treat me, then I don't want to be a part of things. Then, I matured a little bit, grew up. I don't really hate anything or anyone. So I was like, you know what? Let me give these guys another opportunity. Went back to some of their games and they had really open hands for me and open arms.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Accepted me. And it's funny because I was up in a suite watching one of the games and one of the alumni tries to fight me in there.
What?
Why?
He's like, you're an asshole. You left this school high and dry and you this. And I'm like, bro, what is wrong with you? So it scored the guy out.
Like he was kind of like,
he was like angry.
We could have been better.
I don't know. I really don't know. I think it was just jealousy. I don't know what it was.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure he
was angry about that. Again, took it with a grain of salt, moved on with my life. But they actually asked me to come back and speak and teach them about NIL, which is very ironic.
Wow. That's cool, man. That's a full circle moment.
Yeah, very ironic.
Are you going to do it?
I ain't going to lie, I didn't do it. Nah. I didn't do it. Nah. It was a new coaching staff. Gus Malzahn, he came from Auburn.
Yeah.
Got the job there. They asked me to speak. Eventually, I want to get into it, but I didn't do it because I feel like I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
I don't really have at the time, I didn't really have none of my methods or anything to teach written down. So I've worked on kind of a presentation, but at the time I wasn't ready.
So maybe eventually.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I really appreciate that about you. I think none of this is just by chance.
Yeah.
I think you are a real entrepreneur, strategist, someone who's takes things very seriously. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to come prepared. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm
not just going to wing it, man. I winged it for a lot of years. It's not the right thing to do.
I'll never forget being at that summit with you and you're Pixar guy, Matthew Lund from Pixar speaking, you're taking notes and you're like, how can I apply this?
Mm-hmm.
And that is, I think, someone who's willing to absorb things. That's how you evolve
100%
with the industry.
If you're
with the
willing
times.
to put your ego down, because I could have easily been like, I don't need this.
Right. Totally.
I have my millions of followers, millions of views. What am I coming here for? But once you humble yourself and realize there's always room to grow and there's always room to learn and you could always be better, then your ceiling is endless.
Yeah. It's a good place to stop.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all,
dude,
man. This was amazing.
Thank you,
I don't do a lot of podcasts, but this was dope. It was smooth, man. I appreciate y'all so much.
Appreciate it.
My guy.
Dude, thanks for coming by.
Thank y'all. No, anytime.